So we all know about the Astros cheating scandal by now, but what kind of gets glanced over a lot of times with this Astros cheating scandal is the impact that it had on other players and teams. Yes, we know they won the World Series, but what about some of those players that came through their path during this cheating scandal? Well, today we're going to talk about a specific player by the name of Mike Bolsinger, who is actually suing the Houston Astros based on what they did in 2017, because it had an immediate and direct impact on his Major League career, on his life, and he ultimately hasn't pitched in Major League Baseball since his last appearance, which came against the Astros in 2017. So in today's video, I'm going to go over the Astros cheating situation, how it affected Mike Bolsinger, what his lawsuit's going to be, and whether or not I think he has a chance to actually win here, and what it means for like the grand scheme of baseball. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it. That's the best way to show your support. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to get in the comment section down below. Give me your thoughts and opinions. Do you side with the Astros? Do you side with Mike Bolsinger? Do you think he has a case? I'd love to know what you have to say. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in the description. I'm always talking about baseball over there. And if you want to buy any tickets to any sporting events, make sure to head on over to SeatGeek. Use the code DRAFT. Save yourself $20 off your first purchase. So let's set the scene here, because there is a little bit of backstory to Mike Bolsinger and the Astros relationship. From 2014 to 2017, Mike Bolsinger was a journeyman in Major League Baseball. He made a few starts here and there, was your typical journeyman, sometimes put to the bullpen. Actually had a pretty solid season with the Dodgers in 2015, but for the most part, he wasn't consistent part of the roster for Major League Baseball teams. He jumped around from the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, and eventually ended up with the Blue Jays, which is how he crosses paths with the Astros in 2017. Now, 2017 wasn't a great year for Mike Bolsinger, regardless of what happened against the Astros. He wasn't pitching at a high level, he was struggling to be consistent, and he was struggling with staying on the Major League roster. He made 10 appearances with the Blue Jays from May 9th to July 30th, which was all before he played the Astros. 5 of those was starts. He pitched 41 innings, struck out 39 batters, walking 24, giving up 8 homers, 25 earned runs. He had an ERA of 5.49. Opponents were hitting 282 against him with a 378 on base, 500 slugging, and 878 OPS. But this all got escalated on August 4th of 2017, which would end up being the last time that Mike Bolsinger pitches in Major League Baseball. Not even kidding. This guy has not pitched again in the Major League since. The Blue Jays are down 7-2. Mike Bolsinger comes in to pitch. First batter he faces walks Yuli Gurriel. Next up was Marwin Gonzalez, who hit a home run to deep right field. He made it 10-2. Bolsinger then gave up a double to Carlos Beltran, a walk to Brian McCann, a single to right field to Tyler White, which scored another run, making it 11-2, and then a single to left field to Jake Marisnick, making it 12-2, walked Derek Fisher, and finally got Alex Bregman to fly out to end the inning. So in 1/3 of an inning, he gave up 4 earned runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, and a home run. And now that we know what we know, the Astros were cheating during this game, and you can actually go back to these clips, and you know that they were cheating during these at-bats. This isn't good. This is a problem, because like I said earlier in this video, Mike Bolsinger did not pitch again in Major League Baseball since this outing. After this game, sent down, didn't come back to the major leagues again, ended up actually going to Japan to play for the Japanese league because he couldn't even get to the majors with any team, let alone the Blue Jays. I think there's a legitimate argument here that the Houston Astros cheating scandal helped ruin Mike Bolsinger's career. Now, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and say Mike Bolsinger wasn't having the greatest appearances this season to begin with, and maybe the Blue Jays were considering sending him down anyway, but the fact is that the Houston Astros cheated during this game, used the sign stealing stuff, destroyed Mike Bolsinger when he was on the mound for the 1 out that he got, and he has not pitched in Major League Baseball since. This is a problem. That's huge. It's not like he got another chance. Like, this guy, it's crazy, but he literally hasn't pitched since this game, and I think he has a legitimate chance to win this lawsuit. Because the way I see it, yes, he wasn't having a great season, but the Astros deliberately cheated, deliberately went out of their way to gain an advantage, and it ended up not affecting only the outcome of the baseball game, which of course is cheating, but it ended up affecting the outcome of the life of Mike Bolsinger. Hasn't pitched in Major League Baseball, had to go to Japan, trying to make a comeback. Like, this is some crazy stuff. Now, when USA Today talked to Mike Bolsinger, he gave some insight into why he wants to be suing the Astros now after learning this information. He, of course, wants to gain something back because he feels like they did have an impact on his life, but he also has a little bit of a bigger picture here where he's like, the Astros need to be held accountable. They not only did this to me, but they did this to other players as well. The Astros had a huge impact in 2017, whether you want to believe it or not, and a lot of the times you may not see it on the surface, but it negatively impacted the careers of other players. Mike Bolsinger's kind of just the guy right now who's going to be the poster boy for trying to make them be held accountable and take them down a little bit. So Mike Bolsinger is seeking unspecified damages, but they are not all for himself. He wants the Astros to forfeit the $31 million in bonuses that they got from the playoff run where they won the World Series, and he wants that money to go to charity, actually, which is a great idea. It almost helps to strengthen his case because you're not seeing this as a guy who's just looking for a handout. He's like, listen, you guys did something bad. I obviously want a little something back too, but let's turn this into a good thing. He wants that $31 million to be donated to various charities, one that's in Los Angeles that's focused on bettering the lives of children. What a great cause. And then he also wants to use that money to create a fund to help retired baseball players who are having financial issues. Again, you can kind of see where he's coming from here. He knows knows what could have happened, what the Astros possibly could have done to his career, and he doesn't want that to happen to anybody else for a long time. He wants to be able to help those, and I think that's a great idea. I think involving charities, involving like actual good work, not just taking the money all for yourself, is a really good look, and I think it makes his case a lot stronger. In a quote to USA Today, Bolsinger said, "There's a message to be sent to the youth out there, especially athletes, more specifically baseball players. It was awesome to grow up and watch the game played the right way. We've kind of drifted from that. It's something we can really express to these kids. You don't have to cheat to get to where you want to go." And I couldn't agree more with what Mike Bolsinger is saying here. The Astros cheating, it's bad. It is not good. Everybody knows it, but I think it's also very important that we don't let this slide under the rug. A lot of times in baseball, some stuff that can be scandalous has kind of been pushed under the rug, and this is something that, of course, is not a good look for the game, but it also needs to be put on showcase like it has been recently. You need to keep talking about it, and I don't think anybody plans on stopping talking about it anytime soon, but Bolsinger's right. Part of the problem here is that you saw a team cheat, win the World Series. What kind of precedent does that set for the youth, for the younger people who are a lot more impressionable? I think for the most part, most people understand that cheating is bad, but it's definitely important to make that be known that, like, hey, you can't do this kind of stuff. Play baseball the right way. At the end of the day, it's still a game. It's meant to be fun. At the professional level, it's a little bit different, but as a kid, don't go to crazy lengths to do this kind of stuff. Bolsinger goes on to talk about the specific outing against the Astros, and like, you feel for the guy. You really do. I don't know if I've had a worse outing in my professional career. I remember saying it was like they knew what I was throwing. They're laying off pitches they weren't laying off on before. It's like they knew what was coming. That was my thought in my head. I felt like I didn't have a chance. And that's one of the huge problems with what was going on here and why I think he has a legitimate case with the Astros in this lawsuit. They had an unfair advantage that was ending up impacting his job. If you think about this in terms of other like workplace environments, if someone is doing something that is deliberately like wrong, illegal, against the rules, and it ends up affecting your job, there is going to be consequences. The person that's job is being affected should not and probably will not go down for it. And right now, that's kind of what happened with Mike Bolsinger. Again, he wasn't this star pitcher. It's not like all of a sudden he fell off a cliff and he was done. The writing was almost on the wall, but this was the tipping point. And when you see a guy go out there for a third of an inning, give up 4 earned runs on 4 hits and 3 walks, you start to think, yeah, maybe this guy just doesn't have it. Especially when it looked like the Astros knew what were coming. So you were like, oh, he's clearly just not that good. They can see every pitch. Now, with more information and more about the bangs, we know exactly how many bangs were going on during this game and how many bangs exactly went on during Mike Bolsinger's outing. On the August 4th game in 2017, that was the most bangs in any game during the regular season for the Astros. And specifically, out of the 29 pitches that Mike Bolsinger threw, 12 of them had bangs. They knew what was coming. The law firm working with Mike Bolsinger also had some comments to say that kind of helps understand how they're going to go about this lawsuit and why they have a legitimate shot. The Houston Astros team members and managers were bragging how good their offense was and how productive they were, and it was at the hands of cheating. And the consequence was Mike. Now, later on in this article, Mike Bolsinger does admit that he understood what was going on with his career. He realized that there were some younger guys on their way up and that he really needed to show his worth to stay on the team. But he also said that if this didn't happen against the Astros, who knows where I would be right now. And I think that is fair. Yes, he wasn't great, but this was kind of the tipping point, especially when they just absolutely dominated him. Like, they made him look like a terrible pitcher. There's just no way around it. That's because they knew what was coming. They were cheating. He goes on to talk about his experience in Japan, which I don't think really plays too much into what I want to talk about with this video. He talks about the struggle of living in Japan, which, yeah, I guess that's part of it. But at the end of the day, he was still playing professional baseball, so I'm not a huge fan of including that in there. It's part of his story, but I don't think that that really has an effect on the Astros and the whole lawsuit. But I'm going to leave you with this, his final statement, which I think kind of puts it into really good perspective. Here's what Mike Bolsinger had to say. "I don't think the punishment has fit the crime. And let's be honest, all these guys are going to get managing jobs again. Guys like us that were cheated, I don't have a job. I'm not playing." And I think that's what it really comes down to. A guy like Mike Bolsinger, after his appearance against the Astros, has not pitched in Major League Baseball since, and as of right now, does not have a job. Can we say without a doubt that he would still have a job right now if that didn't happen against the Astros? Of course not. But based on the evidence and the facts that we have right now, it looks really, really bad for the Houston Astros and like a really unfortunate situation for Mike Bolsinger, because ever since that game, he has not pitched in Major League Baseball again. So in my opinion, I think Mike Bolsinger is going to end up winning this. I don't necessarily know how much money he's going to win or how much he's going to get to go to charities. They'll probably do some sort of settlement, and if you're the Houston Astros, I think you probably are okay with settling there. Could set up a dangerous precedent for more players to come out and start doing this, but we'll see where it goes. Overall, I think Mike Bolsinger has a legitimate case. I'd love to know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. I know not all of you are lawyers, and I sure as hell am not one myself, but what do you think as like the average person? Do you think Bolsinger has a case, or do you think that this one should be thrown out? If you guys did enjoy this video, something a little bit different, make sure to leave a like on it. I would love to do more of this like kind of story time, interesting stuff going on in baseball that's not necessarily always focused on what's going on in the game. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet already. Click that sub button, join the team. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in the description. Always talking baseball over there. And if you want to buy any tickets to any sporting events, make sure to head on over to SeatGeek. Use the code DRAFT. Save yourself $20 off your first purchase. And that's going to wrap up today's video. You guys know the drill. YouTube recommends you watch this video as well as this is my most recent upload. So click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you so much for watching. guys. I do appreciate you, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.